Alright guys, here we go. You read the title right. We're about to talk about this thing. Everybody else has talked about this thing. We're about to talk about this thing. I have a lot of thoughts. It's taken me a couple days to really think about my thoughts, understand my thoughts. I think it's important that we talk about it. I think it's important that we have this conversation. So my boy Branson's going to come on, Bronson, and we're going to talk about this. I think he wants to share his opinions, and I have some opinions of my own that I want to share. So I'm here at my dad's house. We're in the backyard. What's up? Any advice on starting keto? No, so we have a talk that we have to go through right now. But for you, quickly, www.theketoroad.com. Go to What is Keto? Click on it. Very simple, 4 rules to follow, a huge food list of foods you can eat. I have everything laid out there. Oh. Let me wave at everybody. Yo, what's up, my dude?
Yo.
Surprised.
Wait, why is it so quiet? Hold on a second. I gotta figure out how to make this go to my speaker and not like just my normal thing.
Yeah, you're good. No, you're good, bro.
Are they good?
Yeah. How are you, dude? How's your day?
Dude, we just spent an hour and a half, 2 hours making videos with Rob.
Oh, that's
good
what's
stuff.
up. I'm surprised he's not around your shoulder going, it's the keto road.
I think he ran across to the warehouse to kind of see how things are going over there.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool. So what's up, man? How's your day been?
It's been good, man. Got up this morning, had some coffee, ate a keto brick, did a podcast, and then we spent, like I said, the last 2 hours doing training videos.
Wow.
So it's been a busy morning so far.
Yeah, it sounds like you're living like a savage right now.
Oh my God, it's awesome. I can't believe that this is like my career path.
I resonate with what you're saying. It's
right.
So freeing
awesome.
to realize like this is what your life is going to be like. It's like, whoa, this is so cool. So yeah, I totally get that. All right. So topic at hand, what everybody came to see, the title of the video, the Cosmos cover. So kind of walk us through, I kind of want to hear your thoughts first. So kind of the people that are listening, explain to them what the Cosmos cover is. And then what you're kind of...
1 second, we got to deliver
it. Oh, no, you're good.
All right, life happened.
No, you're good. So,
all right,
walk us through the Cosmos cover. I have a lot of thoughts, but I kind of want to. I know people want to know exactly what we're talking about. So, kind of explain to them what it is and what are your initial thoughts on it?
I guess Cosmos apparently, Rob, they've done something like this before, but I guess earlier this week, end of last week, they came out with a cover showing some very obese women, and I think the caption was "This is healthy," and the response obviously has been mixed. Like, there's the obvious fact that is not healthy. So the statement in and of itself, like, what is the purpose of this? And I think there's been some positive information, some positive response, some negative response, just stuff all across the board, as there is with anything, right? Everybody perceives things differently and looks at things differently. So I personally, the reason I contacted you about this is because I made a video. I saw this, I let it sit in my head for a couple of days, and I made a little rant video, as I tend to do, and listened to the video after I did it, and was like, I need to do this with someone else, whether it be either, like we talked about, either to temper my response or support it, one or the other. Or to help me clarify so that people don't get confused, because that's another thing, right? People are going to hear one thing that you or I say, take it completely out of context because they don't listen to the rest of what we say, and then all of a sudden we're bad people. So I felt like I just needed to do this as a discussion type content as opposed to me just speaking to the air.
Yeah, no, I like that. And I'm excited to talk about, to be honest, I saw it and I'm glad that you contacted me to have a conversation about it, because I have a lot of thoughts, especially like people that follow, they know I'm all about like body image issues and wrestling with that and how that looks with holistic health. So like definitely a conversation I'm down to have. And honestly, I have a lot of thoughts on it. So first off, okay, see, we could go in so many directions about this. Okay, so
it's like, where do you even start?
Because there's a lot, right? So there's a couple things. I'm just going to explain kind of the different angles of things I see with it, and then you can kind of pick one and go into it. So
Yep.
I see one. There's an issue with body positivity right now, and not that the idea in essence is bad, right? Like everybody knows that I truly believe to develop a healthy lifestyle, to overcome eating disorders, you have got to learn to love yourself where you're at. You've got to start working on identity as you go through that journey. Self-acceptance is vital to creating long-lasting identity and the new you that you're creating. Self-awareness, knowing who you are, being okay with who you are, super important. And that term of body positivity, I'm all for it. Where it becomes toxic is this idea that accepting yourself is healthy, right? Like this idea of like, if I weigh 300 pounds, I should accept myself at that place and I should stay at that place because I'm healthy at any size. As long as I have self-love, then I'm healthy. If I can do the splits, if I'm genetically flexible, so I can grab my foot behind my head, that makes me healthy even though I weigh, 300-400 pounds. That's that I have a problem with that. Not just from a metabolic standpoint, but from a self-love standpoint. I feel like that self-love is fictitious because if it was truly self-love, then you would not only accept yourself where you're at, but you would have a desire to be the best you possible, which would require you becoming a better version of yourself, which I promise you would not be you at 300 pounds.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
There's a difference, and that's when self-acceptance becomes justification and rationalization of your current situation.
Mm-hmm.
It's not self-acceptance when you're saying, I love who I am, and it's more, there's a difference between loving who you are and creating a stigma around who you are in opposition to others that may have something negative to say about you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's not self-love. That's justification that's justification. And that's not the same thing. And I think they get very, very confused.
Yeah, and I also think, and in that we see that manifest in very toxic ways, right? So like, because I have clients and people that follow me that we work on self-acceptance and self-love and all these amazing attributes. But if the people that I know were to take what they know as what I consider true, holistic, healthy self-acceptance, trying to optimize yourself, get healthy, do the right things. If they took that idea and they tried to plug themselves into a body positivity group, they would get totally destroyed because you have to be okay with yourself at 300 pounds and you have to be okay with staying at 300 pounds. And if you post any kind of weight transformation from like eating right or any kind of physical change from being healthy and loving yourself even more for accomplishment, you are tore down. You are tore down. And for me, that's probably my biggest issue with it is not the foundational essence of what it is, but how toxic it's gotten. The toxic building they built on top of this foundation that is actually really healthy, right? This idea of loving yourself where you're at and not like thinking that your love will come from a certain weight goal. But knowing that if you love yourself, it should manifest itself in a way where you have a desire to be as optimal as possible.
And you support other people's desire and effort to change. And that's where the difference is. When you're in a body positivity group, in what most of those groups are about, it's about keeping everyone the same, right? That's what you said. If someone comes into a body positivity group and they're like, hey, I just posted a picture, I lost 10 pounds because I found this new thing called keto or whatever it may be. I stopped drinking Coke every day because I felt like it was making my gut unhealthy and I felt like crap. Now I feel great and I lost 10 pounds and they get slammed. It's
now
not
you're fat shaming.
Right. And it's not because they did anything wrong. It's because now they're telling these other people that these other people don't feel comfortable being told that they're not changing, they're not getting better. Mm-hmm. Right. It's about the resistance of change than it is more than anything else. It's like you're changing and I'm not happy with you because I'm not changing and I'm going to justify why I don't need to change because it's not your place to tell me I need to change. Well, I never said you need to change. I'm talking about my change. If you take that as you're not changing and you're mad about it, well, deal with it. If you don't want to change, that's perfectly fine. I'm not saying you have to.
Yeah, no, I agree that 100%. And so I think that's actually a great way of putting it, right? Is like, so the essence of body positivity should be that you love yourself in a way that promotes change. And now it's been toxified to where it's love yourself and justify not changing.
Yep.
And I think that I think one of those is extremely unhealthy because, you know, it's like, man, like there are things that you can't do at 300 pounds that you can do at 200 pounds. You can go for a hike. You can run. You can work, you know, you can do things that you don't need. And most people are like, well, I don't need those things in my life. How do you know? You've never even experienced them. Like, there's so much more to life if you're being active and healthy. Let's see. Keto Kirby said, keyword should be positivity. Agreed.
Yes,
The hack
absolutely.
word, loving yourself where you are means knowing you can always be better. Pushing yourself to be better is the best way to love yourself.
Absolutely.
Agreed that. And then it's crazy the amount of negativity even behind becoming a better, healthier, happier individual. Surround yourself with people who strive to be better, not complacent. I agree with that.
Right.
Which leads me to another point though. And this is a little bit of a, so speaking of us, so we're saying that we should be positive, right? Like whether the person is just starting their journey, whether they're learning self-acceptance at 300 pounds, or whether they're losing the weight, we should be celebrating with them and trying to promote positivity. So then what do you think about the way influencers are handling this Cosmos thing? That's one reason why I hesitated on talking about it, because I have a couple thoughts on that. I think the way I understand that we all know that COVID is impacted by metabolic health, 100%. But the way that people are handling this and blasting these covers, like they're literally posting these covers and going, these humans are obese. These humans are not healthy, blah, 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 blah. Like, we have no idea what these women's journeys are. For all we know, they could be on a health journey and they got the opportunity to showcase their acceptance of self through that journey on a magazine. And they are just getting ripped to shreds by a community that says they're positive.
So I agree and disagree.
Okay.
The things that I've seen, and this is where that perception, the how people take information comes into play, right? Say hi.
What's up?
I wanted to say something, but I couldn't think of anything.
Is that I haven't seen anybody talk specifically about those people. They're saying that the image being represented is not healthy because Cosmo used the image of these women to promote health. That is the message that's being countered. I don't think anybody is coming out directly and saying anything against any of these women because none of them know these women. I don't know these women. Like you said, I don't know their journey. But in retrospect, their journey doesn't matter because their journey has been hijacked by the message being sent using their picture. That's how I look at it. If the picture is this woman is healthy. Now, I don't know if I can't say in my estimation as a health professional, I would not look at that woman as healthy. She's obviously over fat and there is no way that that person can be at any level of optimal health. It's just not possible.
I agree with that.
She may be healthier. She may have been 500 pounds before that picture, and now she's 300 pounds, and she's on a journey. That's awesome. I can't see that. All I can see is an obese woman that says this is healthy. And the message being sent is a message of self-love, not of actual physiological health. So that's all that can be addressed. So when someone says this woman is not healthy, based on that picture and based on the context of the message being sent, no, that is not a correct statement.
Okay.
Has nothing to do with that woman at all. I don't know her.
No. I agree with that. That was a good rebuttalment. Amy said, "Oh, I didn't actually read the article. Did you actually read the article?"
No, just saw the cover.
I think that's important. We can't judge books by their cover, but we kind of can because you should be aware of the cover should take into consideration the story. And if it doesn't, that's an issue, right? So Amy said, one good aspect of the article is they focused on how women were working hard. They talked about being active. That is good. But she just said the article itself and the headlines didn't fit. Okay, I agree. So
interesting.
Okay. Well, that makes sense though. Like oftentimes, like I think like what is health, right? And I think so I agree, right? So like I wonder, and again, we don't know the women. It's hard. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So now we both need to go read the article.
Now we both need to go read the article. Now I'm interested in it. But
thanks, Amy. Thanks for calling us out, Amy.
Yeah. even if the article is really good, a lot of Americans don't read magazines. They're just going to see the cover and go, they're gonna okay, so they're gonna be struggling on their health journey, struggling with their eating disorders, struggling with all of this, and they're gonna be working towards a better person. And then they're going to go and look at this cover, and they're gonna look at it, and they're gonna look at themselves, and they're gonna go,
oh, I'm healthy.
I'm healthy.
Yeah.
100%. 100%. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I totally get that. I totally agree with it. Yeah, it's a sensitive situation, and that's why I was excited to get on the phone and talk, because it's like I have a lot of feelings, because I don't want any woman that's struggling with their weight to think that I'm bashing them or saying that they're not on a health journey and that they're not healthier than they were before, because they are. And we're so amazed and we're so excited to see where you go. But self-acceptance is not self-complacency. One of those is extremely unhealthy and toxic, and it should be treated as such.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, yeah.
And understanding that there's, it is key to understand that there is a journey. And I haven't seen personally any of the influencers, you talked about this, any of the influencers say anything specifically about the women in the picture. So I know there's been some influencers who are like, I'm ashamed of all the other influencers who are bashing, blah, 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 not taking this stuff into consideration. I see everyone's point of view, and I can see how that may be construed from the content that's being put out there in a lot of different places. Knowing some of these people and knowing the heart of many of these people, I can't believe that any of it is intended to harm.
I agree with that. I do not think it's
so
intentional.
You have to take the context and the source in consideration when you're looking at this stuff.
So I agree with that, but understand that you and me are coming from an influencer perspective, right? Like, we know these people. Like, every time I've seen a comment, and no one has, you're right, no one has singled out these women, right? 100%. And I know these people's hearts. I know that they're genuinely worried about the health of Americans in general. But the problem is that you and me know them. The other 10, 20,000 people that are going to see this post do not. They don't have context to fit through the lens, right? So, like, we as influencers, when we're talking about sensitive subjects like this, we have to be able to portray it in a way where, and we're not going to make everybody happy. You're not going to make everybody happy. You're going to piss people off regardless of what you say. So whatever.
We're probably pissing people off right now.
Yeah, people have already jumped off. It's fine. I don't care. But you do want to be careful, and like if I was going to make a post about it, I would definitely make sure to put in parentheses somewhere, I'm not talking about these women specifically. I don't know their journeys. I'm talking about the magazine's push on health at every size, which is not accurate. Right. And I think that's important to define those lines, because you want positivity from both sides. You want to help people that are struggling know that it's not okay, but you also want to encourage women that are in the boat that are in the same boat as the women on the cover, and encourage them to keep going and not make them think that you're some fat hater, right?
Absolutely. If the message hadn't been this is healthy, but if it had been like this is my journey, or something like that, instead of just a flat out statement of falsehood, then I think the context would have made more sense, and it would have been much more. It would have been much less reacted to. Yeah. Right. Because then if that matches the article, then the article. Now, again, we're talking about Cosmo. We're talking about media, and media thrives on controversy. So this is probably doing all kinds of great stuff for Cosmo right now. They're trending, I would imagine, all over the place, and that's what they want. Right. So there is that to be said. But it's causing a discussion, which I think isn't necessarily a bad discussion either.
Yeah, no, and just to re-clarify, like, I agree with you on everything. Like, the cover's wrong, the statement they made is wrong. It's just wrong. I just try to find whenever I post about something, I'm you know me, I'm raw. I'm just like, here, just like, take my punches and swallow them. But I'm always considering, like, is everything I say, even if it's hard to hear, is it uplifting? Is it encouraging everybody that reads it in some form? And if they decide to get mad, it's because they're being ignorant. Right. And so I'm not saying that anybody's not doing that. I just think that, and again, that's just like more of like a psychological side of it. when we're talking about the actual issue, which we can definitely go back to, that idea of like health at any size, I think that's a load of crap.
Well, yeah, let's talk about that real quick. I mean, if you look at, I said earlier, as a fitness professional, as someone who does this for a living, I can look at these women and say they're not healthy. Okay. Just to get the idea in people's heads, so they need to understand that excess body fat is the number one sign of an unhealthy person. Period. Excess body fat, you cannot have that much excess body fat and be healthy. It just is not possible.
Yeah.
Right? It's a sign of insulin resistance, cardiovascular disease, poor gut health, low muscle mass. Like the list goes on and on and on. High inflammation, right? If body fat, adipose tissue is the inflammation or is the organ of inflammation. So the more you have, the more inflamed you are. The more inflamed you are, the more extra stress your body's going through, which means it can't do the things it needs to do to be healthy. By definition. That's by definition. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. So that's why losing body fat is a primary key to most health programs.
No, 100%. So, and let me preference, I want to preference to like people that are listening. Because like understand that when we're talking about being not healthy, we're talking about like where you're at in the moment. So you could be getting healthier, but based off of metrics and organ vitality and ability to move, are you healthy? Are you at the point of being healthy, or are you getting healthier? So, and don't get me wrong, you could be doing all the right things. You could be eating keto, you could be active, all the right things. But if you have hormone imbalances that need some kind of synthetic hormone to help fix it, it's keeping body fat on you, then yes, you are technically still not healthy, because obviously you have endocrine issues. Endocrine issues are not healthy. Now, is it yet your own violation? Are you doing it? No, you have hormone issues that need to be fixed with pharmaceuticals or whatever your doctor is going to prescribe to you, 100%. But you're still not healthy because you have an endocrine issue. Once the endocrine issue gets fixed, you'll be healthy. And guess what the byproduct of that's going to be? You're going to lose the weight you've been trying to lose. So I totally agree with you on that. I just wanted to specify that because, like, I know that there's people,
absolutely.
Yeah, I know there's people that I've worked with that they do all the right things, but due to underlying causes, they're not losing weight. And it's like, well, I'm healthy. I'm like, well, I mean, technically you're not healthy yet. We're working on it. You're getting healthier, but you have, and not because, and I think people, like when we think healthy, we think fat. And so when we try to like change our view of healthy, because healthy is more, obviously I preach holistic health, right? So health is about a lot more than just losing body fat, even though that's a huge byproduct of it. But a lot of people, when they try to change that view and then they're still heavy, so someone says, well, you're not technically healthy, understand that we're not necessarily attacking the fat. The fat is a sign that something else is wrong. It could be your diet, could be your level of activity, could be a hormone issue. Right now, if one of those get rectified, a byproduct is that the fat's going to come off. If the fat is still there, there is an underlying issue that needs to be addressed somehow, some way.
Absolutely. And it's not, fat loss is an indicator. It's something that says, hey, something's not right. So then you start looking at all of the things that you can change or fix to make that right. And something else you said, it's not just, where was I going with this? I have to go back. I have to go back. You said something that kind of clicked something in my head, and then I just lost it. You were talking about health. Man, you just said it. I hate when that happens. It was right there. Oh my gosh. Keep talking. It'll pop back in my head.
Okay. But Amy said something. This is an interesting. I actually don't know if I have an answer to this at the moment. I might need to think on this. Health as a verb. So health is a verb, like getting healthier, but healthy as a noun, maybe.
That actually goes. Thank you very much, Amy. You brought me back. See, that's two gold stars for Amy today. The idea of being healthy versus living healthy. Right? You can be on the journey and change your lifestyle habits and change your routine to be a healthy routine, but your body has to take time to catch up. So just because you're doing all of the things, right? You start doing all of the things. I'm exercising. I'm eating right. I went keto. I went low carb. I went carnivore. I'm exercising 3 times a day. I'm lifting weights. I'm doing all these things. But you've been out of shape and unhealthy for 30 years, right? You're not, because you change your lifestyle over a period of a year, 6 months, 2 years, doesn't mean that your body is automatically now healthy. You have to go through a healing process. And that takes time,
That's
right? So
good.
you don't confuse your lifestyle with where you currently are physiologically.
So there's being healthy and then there is healthy.
Yes. Yes.
Amy, that's good. I like that. That's a really good way of looking at it. I like that. That's a good thought. Yeah, I agree with that.
So, and I think that's where some people can get caught up and confused. Well, I thought I am healthy. Well, your lifestyle may be healthy now. Let's give your body time to catch up.
I agree with that. I agree, and that's why a health journey takes consistency and time
Yep.
and playing the long game. Because one week of eating healthy is not going to make you healthy. You
Right.
did good for eating healthy for a week, but that doesn't mean you're healthy, right?
Correct.
Obtaining the noun of health takes time. It takes days and weeks and months of like doing the action of being healthy to actually achieve a healthy body.
There's another T-shirt.
Huh?
There's another T-shirt. Being healthy is an action verb.
Being healthy is an action verb. Bro, I'm getting on Teespring tonight, dude. It's so on. I'm making the Keto Row t-shirts. It's gonna happen. I'm over it. It's just too many ideas. I've had like 3 t-shirt ideas this week, and I don't know why I'm not making any of them. It needs to happen. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
I know a guy who's getting his own screen printing system.
Oh, is he?
Right, Rob?
Robert, make me shirts.
I'll make you some shirts.
He said he'll make you some.
Yes. Yes. I run a lot, so make sure they have like nipple cushions because I don't want those to rip off, okay? Have my back.
Oh my gosh, you know the face he's making right now.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I know. All right, does anybody have any questions? I would love to hear some of the listeners' comments. I would love to read some and kind of chew on your thoughts. But yeah, I mean, until we get something, I mean, I think it's a great conversation. What so like somebody that's going, they see that magazine, they're kind of struggling with what is like where they should go from here. What is your advice for them?
Honestly, if they're on a program, if they have a plan that they're following, just stick to it. Like you said, consistency is key. As long as you don't quit, you're going to eventually get where you want to go. You may make a bad decision, you may take a wrong path, but if you're always trying to get better, you will always eventually find what gets you there. Right? So just keep going. Don't stop. Yeah. That's really it. It's really as difficult and challenging as that can be. It's a simple concept. No,
I agree with that. It's kind of like with the road method that I've developed for like the kind of the mindset portion of things. The D stands for discipline, right? And it's like I always tell people, I'm like, you could have all the other ones. You could remove yourself from the situation. You could observe and develop self-awareness. You could create an action plan and boundaries. But if you're not disciplined or consistent, you ain't got jack. You just don't. Like if somebody comes to me and I can't stand this when I'm talking to a client or whoever, and I'm like, okay. And they're like, well, I've been doing keto. I've been eating healthy, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, so what'd your last week look like? And they were like, well, I did good for like 4 days. And then I had 3 days where I fell off. And I'm like, dude, you're not going to get anywhere with that. Because if you're binge eating 3 days out of the week, you're making up all your calories. Like you're not in a caloric deficit anymore. You messed up. Like discipline and consistency are a huge thing. And something I always tell people, I think this is important. Discipline is not the same thing as motivation. And I don't think a lot of people hear people say that, but they don't actually apply it. Motivation is the twigs that start a fire, but discipline is the log that keeps it burning. Like you have to have discipline. You have to have discipline. Yeah. I think part of the problem is we constantly tell people starting on a health journey not to focus on the scale to see progress. And unfortunately that gets mixed up with any size can be healthy. Okay, you know what? Okay, I want to hear your thoughts first.
I was hoping that you would take that one first. Go ahead, because I saw that and I've been thinking about how I think that happens. But let's see what you got to say.
No, so I actually understand exactly what he's saying, and so like as someone that really deals with body dysmorphia and stuff in the space, I totally resonate with what he's saying because if there is anybody else, a lot of women, again, not a lot of men do body image stuff. I know I'm a rarity in that perspective, but a lot of the women that do.
I think I think that is incorrect. I just think
Ooh.
it's not as much of a known issue. We can talk about that one.
Okay, yeah, let's come back
We can
to it
talk about
because
that one. Yeah.
I'm curious as to your thoughts. But regardless of where I stand in terms of men, when it comes to like the women that I follow that talk about it, it's very much the scale doesn't matter. The scale doesn't matter. And so over time, we developed this idea that the weight doesn't matter. The scale
Right.
doesn't matter equals the weight doesn't matter, which means even if I weigh 300 pounds, as long as I'm eating healthily and I'm moving, then I'm healthy, right? And I don't need to
Yeah.
change anything. There's nothing I need to look at, no hormone, like I'm fine. So, and I think that's important. And so that's why something I talk about is the scale is not a dictator, right? I totally, the
Right.
scale should not dictate your success, but is a great indicator of what's going on.
Yeah, it's a starting point, but it should definitely not be anything you're not basing your plan off of that, right? You're basing your plan off of the other indicators that are more specific to pointers of things you can fix.
Yeah.
Weight, like you said, weight is like body fat. It's an indicator, but you don't focus on the weight. Body fat is an indicator, but we don't focus on the body fat. We focus on the things that are causing those things to be out of whack, right? So when we look at other metrics like body fat percentage, lean mass total, we look at blood, we look at cholesterol, we look at micronutrient intake, we look at all these other things that are actually indicators that point to specific areas that can be targeted for improvement, which should improve your weight, improve your body fat, right? So they're indicators, not control markers, I guess is what you could call them.
No, I agree with that. And so something I talked about on one of my podcast episodes, I talked about tips for developing yourself in 2021. And something I talked about was making impossible goals, right? Shooting for the stars, landing on the moon. I love that philosophy. And so for me, the scale weight goal is the shooting for the stars. So the way I do it is like if I have somebody that weighs 250 pounds and they want to get down to like 160, 170.
Mm-hmm.
That's a crazy goal, especially depending on their height and size. They might not even be able to get that lean. Who cares? We're going to shoot for it. And then what we're going to do is we're going to make a bunch of micro goals. We're going to see if we can get you to walk 8 miles at one time. We're going to see how heavy we can get your bench press. We're going to see how small of clothes we can get you in. We're going to see how long you can go on a run for it. We're going to make all these little micro goals so that as you approach that big goal, you might not hit it. You might hit it, which would be awesome, but you might not. But even if you don't, you hit all these other things, amazing things happen. I mean, you are healthy. You might not have gotten to that obnoxious scale goal. So it's a great guide, but it should not define or dictate your success, but it should not be a guide. There's nothing wrong with you looking at your weight metric and going, okay, am I on the right path?
Sure.
But don't let the number itself dictate whether you're successful or not.
Correct. Because it's not about, it's about losing the weight enables you to do things. And that's what it's about. It's about the freedom to express your physical ability.
Yeah. Oh, it's like that grandpa video. I can't.
Right, exactly. That's what it's all about, man.
That video still messes with me. Thanks for that, by the way. Okay, so what you're saying earlier, I'm kind of interested. So what do you mean? So it's something that's not talked about well in the men's space. So kind of elaborate for me.
I think whether it rises to the level of a disorder or a mental health issue, I can't say. But I do know many men, myself included, who have a distorted view of their physical appearance. Mm-hmm. Right? I work out 5-6 days a week. I am in the best shape I've ever been in my life. And I still look at myself. I was talking to Rob yesterday. We were doing a bunch of videos and we played some of the videos back. And I was like, I actually don't look as bad as I feel like I look sometimes. I'm in fitness. I'm a fit guy. I know in my head where I'm at, but I almost always have some level of, I think I could be better. And that is not always in a healthy way of looking at performance, looking at strength, or whatever else. It's literally just looking at, I wish my legs were bigger. I wish I had less around my waist. I wish this, and being unhappy with my appearance. Now, people hearing that probably look at me and go, what the hell are you talking about, dude? You look great. Right? Rob says I look sick. But I think many guys either one just accepted that they think they're never going to look the way they want to look, or they're trying to and they just aren't happy with it to an unhealthy level.
I agree with that. I think we misunderstood each other. I wasn't saying I am the only one that struggles with it. I meant I'm one of the only people I know that speaks out about it really loudly.
Oh, yeah.
No,
Oh, I'm speaking out about it.
I
often feel like I look like crap. So yeah.
No, there are so many men. I mean, and that's why I talk about it. I don't talk about it because I struggle with it and I want women, like, yes, I want women to be supported too. But I talk about it because there's so many men that have it that don't talk about it. And they think it's like this thing that, like, I remember before I met Robert, it's a great example. Before I met him, and I started getting into the keto space and talking to all the friends I have now, I carried this self-hatred and no ability to have self-awareness and not knowing who I was. I carried that with me internally, quietly. Yeah. I pressed it way down deep. I never let it out. I never let it out of its cage. I covered it with cockiness, a really annoying cockiness. And it was just this fictitious world that I built because I didn't know how to deal with it. I'm back. Sorry. But so I try really hard to speak out about it because men need to know this isn't a burden they have to carry alone, because my healing began when I realized I didn't have to do it on my own, and speaking out about it. Well, speaking out about it was the best way to deal with it.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Yeah, it's not something I talk about a lot, but it is definitely something that, like I said, it just came up yesterday, and I'm watching these videos. I'm like, wow, okay, I guess I'm doing okay. I'm not that bad.
You should. You should talk about it. You should tell people exactly how you feel. Exactly how you feel.
Yeah. I often feel like I'm fat.
Bro, I'm telling you, there's going to be some dude that just surfing through Instagram that follows you, and he's going to see your video, and he's going to go, he struggles with what I struggle with. I've never told anybody that before. There's other people like me.
Right.
And bro, you're going to change somebody's life.
Yeah, I definitely, maybe I'll do a post specifically on that, because it is something that, in many ways it's motivating, but it's also frustrating, because I feel like there are things that I've always wanted to change and have never been able to figure out how to do it. And it's a challenge to keep trying and keep pressing on. And, at what point do you say, I'm okay with where I am versus I still want to get better? And at what point is I want to get better code for I'm really not just happy and I'm obsessing over something I shouldn't do?
Yeah.
Right? Because there's that fine line between wanting to get better and I'm now obsessed about this and I'll do anything to make it happen.
Yeah, it's also hard when you're a fitness junkie. Like we wrestle with that, because like we're always trying to be that next level, and when we don't get it, we get frustrated. But it's like, okay, how can I get frustrated with that and expect better of myself, but then not depend on that success to define who I am as a person and my values, right? So yeah, I totally dig with it. Does anybody else have any questions? Q&A. I'm enjoying this talk. I don't know how long you can stay on for.
Until Rob says we got to start recording again.
Oh well, that will.
I think he's working.
You never know when that's gonna happen. Just gonna. I remember the first time I went up there, we ate 6,000 calories together because he was doing that crazy 6,000 calories a day thing, and I'm in there making bricks, and he just randomly just said like, "Hey, we got to go eat $1,000 worth, 1,000 calories worth of sausage. Come on!" It's like randomly. You never know when it's gonna happen.
That's awesome. No, actually, probably when we get on, I'm probably gonna make some burger.
Oh,
eat something.
I'm at my dad's right now because I came to pick up like 4 pounds of jalapeno cheese deer sausage and 4 pounds of 60/40 venison. 60/40.
Wow.
Dude, I'm so excited.
How did he get 60/40 venison? Did he mix it with something?
Yeah, so they killed a deer. I don't know where they were, but they killed the deer and then they processed it. And when they processed it, they did 60/40 beef fat venison.
Okay.
Cool. So I don't know, but I'm going with it. Yeah.
Yeah, get it. That's good stuff, man.
All right. Well.
Any other questions? No, we're good.
Yeah, no, we're good, man. I appreciate you coming on, man. This was fun.
Absolutely, man. We got make it a regular thing. Whenever you got something you want to talk about, just let me know.
Oh, bro, I will. And samesies. I'm totally for it. If you wouldn't have brought it up, I think I would have forgotten about it. So I'm glad we got to voice our opinions.
Cool, man. Enjoy it. Take it easy. So see you, everybody.
Yes, sir. Bye.